get it, you know I be on the way.
Just got the tool in to finish timing here on Gabby's car. This here will bolt up here to the back of the engine. So this is going to sit on here like so and help us set the timing. So I'll try it out. I've never used this before, never had to set the timing on the EcoBoost before, but we'll do this together. Getting ready to put the tensioner back in there for the chain guides. So what I did is there's this little clamp. I don't even know if it's going to focus. You can kind of see it. I'll put some arrows on the screen so you guys can see where it's at. You just kind of spread that open and then push down, because when this releases, the lip up there is going to catch it and put it where it needs to be. And then I ran a paper clip through this hole that holds it in the valley to make sure that this thing doesn't release when I put it in there, so I can get it where I need to. So here we are with the tensioner in place with the guide bolts as well as the tensioner bolts. Those are 8 pound-feet of torque. So now that we have this in here, we just pull this pin, make sure, of course, that the chain is all where it needs to be everywhere, and we pull this. And now our tension is set. We are good to go. Yes. So as you can see here, I have the gears in place. And then back here, this is the tool that we use. It goes into the intake cam. You have to actually remove something. So there's a channel that looks like it fits in there just like this, but you actually have to remove that. It's this piece right here. So for it to properly line up, you have to remove this. And I did that with this 17 millimeter Allen socket. So that's all you would need for that. And then it channels into the back here. I had to tap it a little bit so I could get that to screw into place, but that holds everything where you need it. Up front, you do have to make sure that these lobes are facing each other on the high side up front, and then that will set you where you need. And then down in there, there's actually, you have to remove your AC pump, because there is a bolt that goes in there to help hold everything at top dead center, and I'll bring that out so you guys can see it. Have pretty much everything back together. I did a very poor job of recording stuff, and I apologize about the garage door. I was supposed to be on the road a little bit ago to go pick somebody up. But have all these bolts back in here. The harmonic balancer is back on. All these big bolts here were 35 pound-feet. Everything else is 8 pound-feet. Went ahead and got the fuel pressure regulators back on and everything in place. And then, yeah, everything's pretty much tightened up. Over here I have the new gasket here in the valve cover. Here's the old one right here. Typically, you should replace this anytime you take this thing off or on any big jobs like this, so I went ahead and did it. We can place this back on right now. That way I don't have to worry about putting a trash bag over it again. Got a lot of stuff connected last night, just trying to get the serpentine belts back on. Already have the main belt on. Right down there, we're trying to get on the AC belt. That one's a little bit trickier. We're putting it on the AC and then twisted it in place, got the bolts in, and trying to tighten them down. So Nate is taking care of that right now in his fancy James Dean shirt.
Oh yeah.
Whoop, whoop. So we're going to try and get everything together. Everything is plugging back in the way that it should. We have a couple left hanging, but that's going to go into our tubes and all the stuff that isn't in place just yet. All of our spark plugs are back in place, and the cover will go on there. And we only have one extra bolt, so I'm sure that, you know, it probably wasn't needed anyway. So we got everything back together to the best of our knowledge. So I'm going to go ahead and reconnect the battery here. We got lights. Okay, go ahead, try and fire her up. Okay, give it a second, because remember there's no fuel. Yeah. So we need to let the gas get in. Go ahead, give it another try. All right, the car is not starting, so Nate's gonna check to see if we got fuel. No fuel?
No fuel.
All right, go ahead and screw that back down.
Oh, no, there it is.
Is it a bunch of it?
Well, it started pouring out, yeah.
Okay, well, dang it. Okay. So we have fuel then. Now on to the next problem. All right, so Nate was just down in here loosening up our crankshaft positioning sensor down there on the bottom, because the car is still not firing. Wasn't really sure why. However, we realized that we didn't align that. We had an alignment tool for it, but we didn't do that. It doesn't want to focus, but trust me, it's here in my hand. There you go. So what we have to do now is get the engine back to top dead center and align that positioning sensor with this, and then give her another crank, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that does it. So Nate's down there trying to get the back bolt off. He's argued with me here for the last 5 minutes that I kept giving him the wrong socket and had me go back several times to trade out. Come to find out that there is an adapter on the back, and he was trying to put the socket on there backwards.
Don't trust everything you hear online.
The reason is because you're a dumbass.
As soon as we get this off, we'll be able to put the pin back in and get top dead center, and then we'll be able to set our timing correctly this time. Since unfortunately I didn't do it because I wasn't paying attention to the sensor up front. Nate's dropping the car down so it's a little bit easier for us to work on it, but if you see down in here, if I can find it, right in there is a 10 millimeter that is inside the bracket that goes into the block. You're gonna remove that, and that is gonna be where that adjustment tool goes. You can see right there below the center bolt, you're gonna have where you can put in this bolt that came with the kit. That's gonna put the harmonic balancer in position for you to set timing. Because if you look, the teeth are all kind of set in different intervals, especially here when you get to that gap. So then we're gonna take our other tool that goes onto the crankshaft positioning sensor and set it right there to help us set timing with the pulley. After we get that in place, we should be able to put the belt back on, and fingers crossed, it starts. Whoop, whoop. Sounds better.
Yeah.
Any check engine light on?
No.
What is wrong with it now? And no engine codes. As you can see, the garage is pretty much empty of vehicles and in cleaning mode. As you saw from that clip, Gabby's car was loaded up and taken away on a trailer. Actually, my trailer. So what happened was we were going through the motions trying to get this thing fixed. For some reason or another, it wasn't working. Now, we replaced the head gasket, and then we started getting some issues. Car wasn't wanting to start. It started saying that there was a problem with the fuel pressure. That was the only thing that I could get out of the ECU, it was just saying that it was fuel pressure related. So I thought it was like mine. Maybe needed to replace the fuel pump. While I was gone, it was believed that it was best to bring in an outside mechanic and have them check it out. And they said that they felt that the head gasket needed to be swapped on the thing, even though we already did it. So I don't know what could have possibly been the problem to make it be a head gasket again. All right. Well, don't bend it. Jesus Christ. All right, well, now we need a new one. Either way, the car needed to be fixed. One of Gabby's friends needed a vehicle, and she said, hey, you know what? How about I buy this from you, and I'll fix it. It'll be my car. So she got rid of it. The car is gone. There is no more need for green Spec 2 EcoBoost in our driveway, as you can see. So what's next? Well, we're looking at a few other options for Gabby. But for us, that means we're moving on to the ST. As you can see, there's new wheels on it. We'll get into that later. But for now, EcoBoost Mustang is gone. It was a nice car. We got a lot of good memories out of it. Saw a lot of ditches. But we are going to have more videos coming up. We also have some work that we need to do here on the 10th anniversary. So don't worry, we do have content. I just need to find time to edit and put it together. On a sad note, in working on the EcoBoost, there was some fluids that got onto the concrete in there, namely antifreeze. So the problem with that is the garage door doesn't latch that well. And my favorite puppy got out there and licked some of it up. We found out that for a dog to have a chance to survive something like that, you have to have the antidote injected into their system within the first 8 hours of ingesting it to even have a 50-50 chance. So unfortunately, Xander did not make it. That was a few weeks ago that happened, and I'm finally starting to be able to be okay. He was a very, very special puppy, and he will be missed. So that is it for this video. In the next one, we are going to be working on the ST. Make sure that you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit those bell notifications so you don't miss anything else that's coming up. And maybe, I might have a little bit of 650 action for you coming up, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I work for a little company known as RTR Vehicles, which I also am on that YouTube channel. So make sure to like and subscribe there as well. Until the next one, peace.